the way we live today. Humanity is also very important. We need to work together to take care of each other, even if some people are assholes like the blue Care Bear. Whether people have hurt us or neglected us in the past, it doesn't make hurting them back right. There should be justice rather than payback. The United Nations is supposed to make our world better as a whole, but are they really? Not many people pay attention to the way prisons are run around the world because it doesn't make headline news, nor is it in the newspapers, and for most people, it probably doesn't really concern them. But doesn't being human include the good, the bad, and the ugly? There are currently 192 countries in the United Nations. The only 3 not included are listed below. I know you can read. Anyways, as we know, the UN makes rules and regulations for things of all sorts, all of which deal with international relations, believe it or not, including regulations for prisons all over the world. These include the separation of inmates. This breaks down to separating the men from the women and the juveniles from the adults. They're also split up by the severity of their alleged crime. Another basic guideline is the accommodation of the inmates. Simply put, each prisoner is to have their own cell unless it's built for more than one person. The facilities are also supposed to be sanitary for the sake of the inmates' health status. There are also more basic requirements such as good lighting, heating and air conditioning, floor space so they can move around, bathrooms, showers, and so on. Basically, the essentials of living so that they can still take care of themselves. The UN also requires for inmates to have education and recreation while they're in the joint. Prisoners are supposed to have the ability to continue or finish school while they're in the joint so that they can continue their education or even get a decent job when they are re-entering society. Cultural activities are also a must for the inmates. This includes things like music, recreational sports, and other things like arts and crafts. Work should also be provided for the inmates. This is to give them a sense of humanity while they're incarcerated. Regardless of the fact that these people are criminals to various degrees, not all of these minimum guidelines are followed. Not all prisoners are treated like living, breathing human beings, as they should be. To paint the picture for you, we'll start in Brazil. A prison here is currently holding over 400 inmates when the facility is only designed to hold 150. That's quite a big difference. You do the math. Their living conditions are horrid here. These people are enclosed in a cell area filled with 200 people when it's only meant for 75. They have hammocks hanging all over the cell as bedding for some, and everyone else has to sleep on the floor beneath them, huddled as closely together as possible in order to ensure that no one has to sleep in the one bathroom they all share. Luckily, they do get to participate in arts and crafts on a daily basis, sing, write songs, and play music together. They also get to attend a movie night once a week, which is kind of cool. However, they don't get to go outside to play sports, or get to go outside in general. Nor do they have any education whatsoever, and they do not get to work around the facility at all. Why do they live this way? Because the facility doesn't have enough trained personnel to open a bigger prison to hold them all. There's a pretty simple solution to this problem if you ask me. Train some people to work at the prison. Hey, it also makes new jobs too. Imagine that. And I'm sure if everyone made a big enough deal about it like they do other issues, I'm sure the UN could pull a few strings and help at least add on to their current facility, if not help build a bigger one. Another prison is one in Siberia. It is the only female prison in the entire country. It's slightly crowded, but, on the upside, the women incarcerated here get to work and are even able to change jobs if she so chooses, as long as she has been on her best behavior. They have a clean facility and even provide health care for the women, which is nice. There is also a library for the women to use, so they can go sit and read and enjoy themselves to some extent. The main downside is that regardless of their crime severity, they're only allowed to see their own children up to 5 times a year, unlike how we have scheduled visiting hours like we do here.
America.
our homeland's prison system isn't exactly a winning situation either. Many prisons like California are having serious overcrowding problems. Luckily, these inmates have the opportunity to further their education and work while locked up, but many simply have no motivation to prepare themselves in this way because, let's face it, when you're a criminal, especially a felon, you are automatically looked down upon by society. Kinda like this raccoon. Sure, they tear your trash up when you're asleep, but they're mommies and daddies too, people. It's just that some people who are locked up are really ready and willing to turn their lives around when they're released. But why be motivated to do that when it's so unlikely to happen? Believe it or not, there's a place where this happens, and it's not imaginary. It's in Norway. Halden Fengsel opened on April 8th of this year and is known as the world's most humane prison already. The windows have no bars, there are no cells, just living communities that house about 6 inmates each, and they each have their own rooms. The inmates even have a kitchen in their little home, and a bathroom, as you can see. This is so they can cook their own meals, and then, on top of that, they also have all sorts of activities to choose from, like a community music room, or an organized sports game every day, and they even get to swim in the ocean for exercise. They also get to leave site to visit their families at home for 1 week out of the year, if applicable, of course. The families can also come visit for prolonged periods of time, if they so choose. The prisoners also have jobs like lumberjacking, regardless of their past history with an axe or a chainsaw. The primary mission of the prison, in the words of R. Hoydell, who's the governor of the prison, we want to build them up, give them confidence through education and work, and have them leave as better people. Also, the guards here carry no guns or weapons because it creates unnecessary tension between themselves and the prisoners. In fact, they're even friends with the inmates, regardless of the fact that they're different. Oh, and did I mention that Norway now has the lowest crime rate in the world? So, as I said, fighting wrong with more wrong doesn't really work. The lies and deceit brought forth by the UN on their obviously bullshit policies is only a part of the downward spiral of humanity as a whole. People's needs and lives in general are being ignored here. We need to work together to help each other and learn how to forgive one another. Every one of us has one life to live. Let's make it count. Oh, and this is for you, United Nations.
Just